Absolutely. So thank you for that. So the Goodwin Brothers were big winners in last year's Josie Music Awards, being named Bluegrass Band of the Year and Entertainer of the Year nominees, as well as being selected as one of 8 performers for the award show on the Grand Ole Opry stage. And this year they are up for an astounding 10. That's right.
That's 10.
10 awards. And we have featured the Goodwins as nominees in our first Josie Preview Award, and that was heard on the Overtones live time slot. And last month we featured the Goodwin Brothers Chase Bush as vocalist, and he was an interesting cat as well, and we had him on the show, and he was nominated as vocalist of the year nominee. And now, John, I find out you too are on the nominee list for tons of awards, but you are on the list in an individual category as Musician of the Year that honors the musician as instrumentalist as well. You have been nominated in the guitar category. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you guys for having me.
So how many instruments do you play? Because it just seems like that people just don't stick to one these days.
Yeah, well, growing up, everybody around us played, so I became a jack of all trades, but master of none, so I don't claim to be great at all.
He's not telling the truth.
But I learned to, and as a producer, when I was a young producer, we couldn't afford, the budgets weren't big enough for studio musicians.
Right.
So I would just play all the instruments on the record. So I just had to teach myself, and so I don't know the answer to that. I mean, on records, I've done guitar, banjo, mandolin, fiddle, dobro, piano.
Do you have a favorite?
I typically, these days, stick to guitar and piano. That's what I do mainly, but it's always fun.
So what does it mean, John, to be nominated in the Musician of the Year category along with the other 9 categories?
Yeah, it's always an honor. Anytime that people appreciate the art that you make and appreciate the work that we put into it, it's always an honor.
Yeah, it's nice to get nominated even if you don't win, because it lets you know, hey, we're getting recognized for what we are doing. So one of those categories is for EP of the Year, which is your live album made at Overtones Live in also Georgetown at the Tipsy Cow. What does it mean to have an entire album nominated along with your other categories?
Yeah, that's always it's always exciting. The EP that we did there at the Tipsy Cow that Overtones Live produced was just a phenomenal night. I mean, it was just something that we didn't expect. It was actually, I guess it's been about a year now.
Yes, a year, June 30th.
Yeah. So when Renee called, we had never met them, and asked us to do it. We were hesitant just because we hadn't done anything live for radio. But what turned into a great project, a DVD and CD project, double CD project. And we put it out now, and it's done really well for the brothers, and obviously people are enjoying it. So.
And John and Renee, since our last show with Chase Bush, I understand this performance has also been nominated for 2 Hollywood Independent Music Awards to be held next month in L.A. That's exciting.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, so you going out to L.A. to go to that show?
We're probably just send Renee at this point.
Renee and Warren already have their tickets. We are so ready. And I just laugh, I just chuckle when you say that, because it has just been an unbelievable ride. And we're so proud of this project.
We are.
And so proud that there was a category for live, performance in this particular Independent Music Awards. And Adam, just to let you know, this is associated with the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, which recognizes music that's in documentaries, films, TV shows, and movies.
Yeah. Well, it's well deserved. You guys do need to be recognized for your music. But listen, this is huge news, folks. We understand there is a new Goodwin Brother edition that came special arrival in June. Talk about that.
Yeah, his name is Jonathan Rhodes Goodwin, and he's a month old today.
Oh, wow.
So he's just my pride and joy, and you can read that bio. You can read all the bios, and I'm just waiting to hear the word dad.
Right.
It's like everything else is kind of, I guess it just changes your perspective on life and everything, when you see the miracle of a child, for sure. But he's great. He's well-traveled already, only at a month old. So he's been on stage at festivals, and he's been to Yeah, he's been all over already.
I can see you light up when you talk about him.
Absolutely.
Is this your first son? This is your first kid?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, there we go. New Goodwin brother in the house. So we are going to hear a couple of songs that feature the beauty, artistry, and expression in guitar solos in Goodwin Brothers performed songs, a ballad, and a Get Your Bluegrass On style. What are we going to hear first today?
What are we going to hear?
Actually, we're going to hear a Glenn Campbell classic performed by the Goodwin Brothers style in Flair. And John, tell us about this recording.
Sure. Yeah, we did this. It's never been released, so you're not going to find this on iTunes or anything just yet. We may put it on a future record, but we did this really just for fun at the house. I've got a studio at home, and it's just me on guitar and the boys doing vocals. It really, anything that we do new, we always do a work tape first. So a lot of times that's just me on guitar and me doing all 3 vocal parts just for work tapes for the boys. They happen to be there that night. So this is what you're hearing. The Chase and Will literally learned the song the night that we recorded this, about an hour before we did it. So it's a little rough. But she asked for something that featured guitar, and that's all it's got on the track other than our vocals. And it's a great song. People will remember it. Classic country.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's go ahead and listen to Wichita Lineman. We'll be back after the song.
I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I can hear you through the wine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, I'd stretch down south, won't ever stand the strain. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. Still on the
We are back, and you just heard the Josie Music Awards nominee for Musician of the Year, Jonathan Goodwin. John, thanks so much for being here. And I just want to talk to you also about your experience with the Josie Music Awards. It's not your first rodeo, and you're also nominated for several awards in that. What does that mean to you as an artist?
Yeah, it's great. It's always fun, and I love doing what I do outside of the Goodwin Brothers. For years, I've been involved with a lot of award shows that I've served on boards with, and we've been a part of for everything from the Grammys, Recording Academy, to stellar awards like the Black Gospel Awards. I've worked in all of that. So anytime you see, especially these new award shows, I'm not sure how new they are, but they're one of the only ones, I think, for independent artists, maybe the largest one for independent artists. So anytime you see them doing it at the level that the Josie Awards do, it's very admirable. And they do, it's a first-class show. It's a first-class we were privileged to perform last year, so we got to do that, and it's just I guess it was sold out, or it was close to being sold out at the Opry House.
Wow.
So it's always a great, it's great when you're nominated for anything, but when you see an organization like that put so much effort into these independent artists that maybe aren't your everyday household names, it's very validating for sure.
And Adam, I might add that, as we mentioned before, the Goodwin Brothers were selected as one of 8 performers to take the stage last year. We're eagerly awaiting the announcement of who takes the stage this year. But one of the categories for the Josie Music Awards that the Goodwin Brothers are in are for those 8 performers in its favorite performance of the Josie Music Awards last year. So we got our fingers crossed for that.
It's good luck.
And just, John, what did that mean for the Goodwin Brothers to be able to, perform on that iconic stage?
Yeah, it was incredible, and I have done it. I've done it twice before with other bands, just as a sideman, just filling in. And I work with the Opry a lot. I have through the years, but I had never been blessed to stand on that stage with my brothers, so that was a very different experience. And we all just took it in and enjoyed it. And anytime I always encourage anybody that goes to Nashville, go to the Grand Ole Opry. Go and see a show. It doesn't matter who's on. It's going to be an experience. And but to get to stand in that circle where Roy Acuff did, and George Jones and Merle, and it's just always an honor.
The list goes on and on.
And I might mention too, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, John, because like I said, John is a very humble musician and person. He doesn't brag about himself a whole lot, but he continues to amaze us. But he has also been behind that soundboard on the Grand Ole Opry, and let's talk about that. Who were you photographed with?
That's a lot of pressure.
Last.
Garth Brooks?
Yes. Garth Brooks.
Garth showed up. He wasn't scheduled to be there, but we were working that night, or I was working that night, ears for another band that was on the lineup, and Easton Corbin. I don't know if y'all remember them. Them and Daly and Vincent and a few others were there. And Trisha Yearwood was on the lineup, and Garth just showed up to special guest, surprise everyone.
Right. That's who he's married to, right?
Yeah.
Trisha Yearwood. Okay.
Yeah. We all call him Mr. Yearwood. But he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But yeah, we've had a lot of great experiences through the years, situations like that for sure.
And before we let you go, talk to your next, I don't know if it's your next event, but it is coming up at the end of the month. Another exciting reason to go to Nashville in July.
Yeah, and we are going to be celebrating, we've spent the last year celebrating the Overtones project, which you guys have celebrated here at Radio Lex so much, and we appreciate that. We spent the last year working on a brand new record, though, a studio project for Pinecastle Records. And it's called If You Hadn't Noticed, the Goodwin Brothers. And it's 10 brand new songs, a lot of original stuff. And we're doing our album release party at the world-famous Station Inn on July the 29th, which is, anybody that knows anything about bluegrass music in Nashville or around knows that iconic place. It's a small place. It's one of the only historic places left downtown. There's high-rises now, and all the other places have been tore down. But it's a great venue for bluegrass music. And we're going to be there on the 29th doing our album release party. So we want to invite everybody to come and be with us for that as well.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting. And Adam, as I mentioned earlier, thank you, John, for being with us
thank you
today.
all. It's always
this is
an
just
honor.
awesome. And we've been able to feature the Goodwin Brothers in our first episode. We've been able to feature Chase in the second, and now John in the third. So we're hoping to get Will in here for the next couple of shows. So.
Shady Grove, my little miss. Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss. Going back to Harlan. Well, coffee grows on motto trees and the river flows with brandy. The rocks and the hills are covered with gold, and the girls are sweeter than candy. Shady Grove, my little miss. Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss. Going back to Harlan. Well, every time I walk that road, it's always dark and cloudy. Every time I see that girl, and her smile is always sunny. She's a darling of my heart, and I love her better than honey. Shady Grove, my little miss. Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss. Going back to Harlan. Shady Grove, my little miss. Shady Grove, my darling. Shady Grove, my little miss. Going back to Harlan.